back to my channel. So in this video we will be looking at how do we create a stack bar chart and what are the different types of stack bar chart that are available within Power BI. So let's quickly get into the demo. So here we already have the previous videos chart, which is the clustered bar chart and the clustered column chart. So this is a clustered column chart, and let's try to convert this particular chart into a stacked chart. So for that, I'll just go to my visualization pane and select the stacked column chart. So the moment I select this, you can see that both the measures have been uh, populated on top of each other with respect to the corresponding dimension, which is the region here, right? So when do we use this particular stack bar chart? So stack chart is helpful when we'd like to evaluate within that particular region what is the contribution of that particular metric, like for both of those metrics that have been used in this visual. Okay, so that's when you can use the stack chart within Power BI. So in this, we also have other two types of stack charts. The one is the stacked 100% stacked bar chart, and the other one is the 100% stacked column chart. Now, how is it different to this particular stack chart? Is means, so this particular chart is just showing you like what is the contribution of that particular measure with respect to the other for the corresponding category, right? But when you convert this into a 100% stacked bar chart, you can notice that with respect to the overall 100% of west region, like if you say like within 100%, what is the overall contribution of profit versus sales percent, right? So that's where you can go with the stacked bar chart, that is the 100% stacked bar chart. Okay, so you can see that unlike the previous chart, the normal stack chart, here every bars are of equally distributed, which means that these are of 100%. So within my 100%, what is the volume of distribution for my sales versus my profit? So I know that which particular measure has got the highest contribution with respect to the total value. So that is when you can go with this 100% stack bar chart. Okay, so when you like to do that, when you like to evaluate what is the contribution of that individual measure with respect to the overall total, you can choose the specific visual within your data visualization. Okay, so again, like I said in the previous video, the it's just the difference in the terms of how this visual has been oriented. So if you'd like to have this chart being displayed in a horizontal fashion, you can choose this particular horizontal the 100% stacked bar chart. But if you'd like to have this in a vertical manner, then you can go with the column chart, which is the 100% column chart. So in both the cases, the result is still the same. However, the bar's alignment has been changed from the horizontal to the vertical manner. So that's the only difference between both of them. Okay, so this is all about the different types of bar charts that we have within Power BI. Okay, so now let's go to the other visual that is there within Power BI, and one of the important chart that I can talk about, which is the line chart. So line chart is basically helpful to perform any time series analysis. Okay, so for example, if you would like to evaluate your data based on a specific time period, right? Like for example, I would like to see how my sales have been progressed from the last 2 years, right? So in this particular question, I understand that I would like to verify or evaluate how my sales has been progressed from the past 2 years. So that specific period is there, right? So that is the time interval. So you have a time range. Within that particular time range, you would like to see how your sales or your corresponding measure has been performing, right? So in that particular scenario, you can choose this line chart. All right, and whenever you use any date field within your report, the default chart would always be a line chart. Okay, so now let's understand how you can build this chart within Power BI. So I've just selected this line chart, and sorry, so I will go to my orders table. So for this example, I will use the superstore data set. Okay, so here I will try to bring in my order date. So probably I'll just expand to this, and I'll just bring in this here. And I'll go back to my metric, which is my sales, and I would like to verify this based on probably a category. Okay, so for different categories, how are my sales being progressed over the period of time? Okay, so here you could analyze three different things together. Like from 2018 to 2021, you can analyze how your sales has been performing for the individual categories, right? So you have three different categorical values: furniture, office supplies, and technology. And for each of them, you can quickly evaluate, like for which specific category did the sales go high, and when was it low for each of those categories, and at what particular point of time, right? So you get this all information at one from one particular visual directly, right? And that's where the time series analysis charts are quite helpful to make your decisions quite easier and quicker. Okay, so this is how you can build a line chart within Power BI. Similar to this, we also have the other charts, which is like the area charts. So area chart is also an extension of your line chart. So both line charts and area charts are helpful to make a time series analysis within your respective data. But when do you use a line chart or a area chart? Right, so you choose an area chart when you would like to see the depth of that particular transition, or the depth of that particular progress over that particular time frame. That's when you go with the area chart. But line chart is simply to analyze how your data has been progressing with respect to your measure and your dimension. Okay, so if you convert the same chart into a area chart, you see that, okay, so you see the depth of that particular, or the volume of that particular measure value, right, within the individual categories. So by looking at this, immediately you can be able to predict that or understand that for this particular category, there is a highest amount of sales, right, when compared to the other two categories, right? But there has been a fall with respect to this particular sales corresponding to the furniture category during the year 2020 and 2021, right? So it's not like a decrease immediately, but the growth has not been observed quite much. So it has been like a steady growth, like it's not been tremendous growth that has been observed during this particular time frame, right? So this is when you can go with a area chart within Power BI, right? And this is another chart which is part of the area chart, which is the stack chart. So stack chart is nothing but it would just give you the depth of each of these progress individually. So in the previous chart you saw that there was an overlap of the data, right? So the data has been shown as is, like you observe that there is no difference between your line chart and your area chart. The only difference is that when you select a line chart, you don't see that filled in area within that particular section, right? But when you transform this into an area chart, you see that the similar lines have been projected, except that the data beneath that particular lines have been highlighted with some volume. So it's been filled in with some color, so that you know like what is the depth of that particular progress over that particular time interval, right? But when you compare this with a stacked area chart, this is slightly different, because in a stacked area chart you do not overlap the values on top of each other. It's not the actual values, but you can identify this data distinctively. So you have this volume distribution for each of the categories over this particular time interval, but you do not see that overlap of the data. And this is important at some times, because if there are too many categories to analyze over the time interval, you might not be able to get through that particular actual data immediately. But probably by using the stacked area chart, you can easily see like which particular category has got the highest volume within that particular time interval. So as you notice here, the volume of this particular furniture is less than compared to office supplies and technology, right? So you see that the depth has been increased when it is compared to that of the furniture. So furniture has got the lowest amount of sales distribution over the entire period. Rather, when you see this both office supplies and technology, you see that they are similar to each other. Like you do not see much difference with respect to that particular growth, right? So this would be important when you would like to highlight which category had got the least amount of sales or the progress, or probably the highest sales over that particular time interval. Okay, so this is when you can choose either of these charts together. So I hope you understood this topic thoroughly, and if you do like this video, please give a thumbs up to motivate me. Thank you, and we will discuss about the other charts in the next video.